Hello world, welcome to the 257th climate change emergency protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I'm speaking to you from my house. Kind of concerned, that's the least to say of it. Very concerned about where the world's headed, and right now this is symbolic of the people of Gaza and what they're going through without the bombs falling. And this is symbolic also of the lack of action concerning climate change. We're basically in the dark. And our politicians, our lead politicians, have promised to protect us and look out for the population of the world, aren't doing that. They're on a murderous path that will kill us all based on their lack of action, and in fact action in the opposite direction, which is detrimental. So this is October 26, 2023. This is number 257. Next week will be number 258, Climate Change Emergency Protest. That'll be on November 3rd. So the people of Gaza right now are being choked off. It's basically an open-air prison. They're not allowed to leave, but they're told to move out of the way. I mean, what kind of insanity is this? On top of that, the war crimes that are being committed upon them, other than the indiscriminate bombing that the Israelis say they're going after Hamas, but the problem is that there's citizens all around and they're killing thousands of them, literally thousands. Joe Biden said there's no proof of that the numbers are correct. You know what? Send some top-level advisors over there, have them stand along the people of Gaza, see how that works out for them, and that'll tell you whether the numbers are correct or not as they get blown to pieces. So the war crimes also being committed are total choke off of food, water, and fuel. I mean, this is a war crime. You're visiting it upon the population and not the individuals who you're fighting. So that's called a war crime. Whoever's committing it or participating with it. So you got Israel, you got the United States. And I'm not saying Hamas is innocent. By far they're not. But they need a better solution than what they're doing now. You can't kill thousands and thousands of people in the search for individuals, like a couple thousand Hamas people. That's called a war crime. Like it or not, it's a war crime. Our president is participating in that. The administration is participating in it. The whole Congress is participating in it by not saying anything. In a sense, the voters are participating in it too, because Republicans and Democrats are participating in these war crimes. Right now we had a shooting in Maine, the state of Maine. 18 were dead, which pales in compared to Gaza, what's happening. But 18 are dead. This is the largest mass murder. Maine is a very, for those who are not from the United States, it's a very quiet place. It's the way life ought to be, or was. And now it's just like any other place, USA. Other news, the Antarctic ice sheet will collapse. The question is when. Now they've done a study on it, which we've been saying, those of us that know what's going on. The underneath the ice sheets are grounded in the ocean bed, and the waters are very warm. It's being undercut, just like you undercut a tree, and it's going to fall. In addition to the warm waters that are around it, melting everything and causing a warmer air. Antarctica right now, Antarctica is the lowest sea ice extent ever, as far as they know. It's larger than what would be predicted as the Blue Ocean event at the North Pole. So you can expect a similar level of heating within that that you would expect with a Blue Ocean event at the North Pole. So, in other words, you're going to have the AMOC is going to be affected, Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, which is will affect the whole world in a negative way. You have heating oceans, you have currents will change totally with the AMOC and other currents, and wind patterns will change. In addition, we're seeing it here because the Arctic has melted so much that the wind patterns have changed. Nothing makes any sense to me anymore. I used to, as a runner, as I am now, even though I've gained some weight, but as a runner, I could predict what it was ever in Seattle, Washington, 3,000 miles away, would be here as weather in 3 days. But anymore, you don't know where the weather is coming from or what's going to happen. July 2023, they had the hottest day ever in the history of humanity, 120,000 years, okay? Then they also thought the hottest month in the history of humanity ever. I mean, ever in the history of humanity. This is where we are. And everyone's just going around, going shopping, doing whatever they're doing, watching their favorite programs, baseball, football, cricket, whatever your sport is, just hanging out, doing things and not paying attention. August was the hottest August ever. Around the world. This is not just the United States. This is around the world. September was also the hottest September ever. So we're on a path to destruction. And if you look at the charts, it's not just the hottest. It's by far the hottest. It's crazy, double the amount the hottest it ever was for those months. El Nino right now, it might become an super El Nino, who knows, but an example of that was happening, and one of the effects is in the Pacific. There was a tropical storm or a disturbance, and it was coming up towards Acapulco, Mexico yesterday or a day before, and it blew up in 24 hours. It increased wind speed 115 miles per hour in 24 hours. It's insane. It went all the way up to Category 5, 165 miles an hour. So climate change will get worse and worse over the next few months due to El Nino and just the ever-increasing effects of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere affecting other things, kicking feedback loops, kicking more feedback loops. So we're on the road to hell. We're not going to survive this if we don't get control of this and people become aware of what's going on with climate change. And one of the main impediments to it right now is endless war. You're spending all your money on war, all your attention on war, making more animosity rather than working together, and this won't work out. When Israel's trying to bomb Hamas and the people of Palestine to get them to love them, what the effects are is the people of the Arab nations, no matter it's Sunni or Shiite or anything, will grow to hate them even more so. This does not give them warm feelings from other nations towards them. You kill their cousins, this is what's going to happen. It's just the way it is. And Hamas, by creating attacks on Israel, is not helping their cause. It's understandable in some respects, but it's not what you need to do. What needs to be done, and no one will be happy with this, is a two-state solution. Two-state solution. Gaza, West Bank have to be connected with a corridor made into one country. Whatever Israelites are behind those lines have to be moved out. The settlers have to be kicked out of the West Bank. Create a two-state solution. Then from then on, you have diplomatic relations, better Arab feelings, and things can move forward. Hell, we're trading with Vietnam. We were arch enemies with them for 12 years or however long the Vietnam War went on. So they're one of our best trading partners. Strange things happen in time. And you can't draw a line and say, this will never come back again. Well, it can if you start respecting each other. Hamas does not respect Israel. Israel does not respect the Palestinians. And it's extermination going on right now. Biden always says Israel has a right to defend themselves. Yes, but not at the cost of war crimes committed against the average population and the average person that is a Palestinian. They're not dogs. They're human beings just like you and me. All their babies are precious, just like the babies of Israel are precious. Everyone is equal, and we need to start treating each other with respect. Things cannot go forward. If you want to solve the Ukrainian issue, I've done that many times. The Donbass region goes free. Crimea goes to Russia, and Ukraine's left alone. What's left of Ukraine is left alone, and they're a separate country. These solutions aren't that difficult. We have to get beyond this, and what's going to happen in the Middle East is that you're going to see a massive amount of heat increase coming up in probably December, January, somewhere like that, and it'll become untenable to keep fighting unless you have air conditioning. So it's a situation that is developing, and no one recognizes how bad it is. Now, in honor of the people of Gaza and the lack of action in climate change, I'm going to blow out the candle and turn off the flashlight, and people realize that this is symbolic of how dire the situation is. I will catch you next week in the dark. Hopefully it'll get better.